Right now on my For You page, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the difference in prices when it comes to living in China versus living in the US, such as housing and food, transportation, the ease of things that are over there versus over here. And I want to say that I lived a pretty comfortable life over there before I had my kid. Again, I lived in China for 4 years. I was initially there for my PhD. Then I turned it into an English teacher. I had my daughter there as well. So my medical footprint there was also very, very low. It was very inexpensive and I was treated very well. If you want a story on how my pregnancy and my birth over there was, let me know down below and I'll be happy to give that to you. So when I was there, scholarship was about 3,500 kwai. And the scholarship also had an additional 2,000 kwai or renminbi on there as well if I lived off campus. So a total of 5,500 renminbi per month was for my scholarship funding. 2,000 was to help with housing opportunities if I moved off campus, and that was based off of my type of scholarship that I was on. And 3,500 was the living scholarship that they gave you to help you with textbooks, for food, if you needed to go shopping. So that 5,500 was about 750 USD, because at that time it was 7 kwai to every $1. I rented, my first apartment that I rented from off campus was a 3-bedroom, and I rented it with my friend that was from Bangladesh, and I rented it with a Chinese friend. So my bedroom was 900 kwai, so it was only like $100. The second apartment that I moved to was a 2-bedroom apartment for 1,800, and the last one that I moved to was also a 2-bedroom apartment for 1,900 renminbi, or about $260 USD. Now, when I was renting out an apartment, even though that sounds fine with $250, $260 USD per month, I worked through an agent, a realtor agent that worked with foreigners specifically. And so what would happen was that we would pay our initial rent, and it was every 3 months that we paid. And for some apartments, depending on your income, and if you're a foreigner, you would have to pay up to 6 months in advance before you can move in. So I would pay every 3 months to my agent, and my agent would pay the landlord or the laoban each month. I have talked previously before about WeChat, Weixin. Weixin is an app that's very similar to WhatsApp, but better. Much better. It has, it doesn't scroll like TikTok, but they do have an option where you can do videos like that, the little shorts. But it basically has a whole bunch of apps in there. It has your Taobao, it has your Alibaba, your Zhifubao, has your Didi. So these are like eating services, shopping services, payment services, bank access. You can get a delivery done within the same day. I truly believe if WhatsApp wanted to and wanted to be a lot better, that they should take some initiative from Weixin and see what things from it that they can add to it. The only problem is if you upgrade WeChat, then you are going to have more space on your phone. So the concept of being able to live much better in China compared to America is because of the change in the USD to the renminbi and how much more affordable in that sense compared to coming from a very expensive place. I was able to buy fresh fruits and vegetables every single day. While I was in China, I was able to just leave my house, and in the evening we would have all these shop carts on the street with fruits and food and vegetables that you can go buy. And if you wanted to try a little bit, depending on the laoban, you were allowed to just try a small sample and then make a purchase. I made my own little community there. So in the evening, the Ayis or the older women would come out and they would do a traditional Chinese dance, or they would just do exercise out there. You would see the elderly walking around with their grandkids. You would see moms out there with their kids as well during the evening. Basically, the whole community will come alive at that time. And they would always look out for me and my daughter while we were out there. They were always so friendly, and that's how I was able to learn Chinese. I completely immersed myself inside the community because I wanted to know what was going on around me. I wanted to know who was talking about me. I wanted to be able to bargain with money. I wanted to be able to get somewhere. I wanted to be able to do everything on my own. Me being able to read Chinese was a bit more difficult, but there were a few key characters that I always remembered when it came to what I was looking for. For example, if I was trying to order something in a restaurant, I knew a few key words like rice, I knew noodles, I knew what soup looked like, I knew what spicy was, I knew what the different types of meat symbols were if they didn't have pictures there. I learned so much from my fellow colleagues as well when I was doing my education there. They were so kind and opening. Again, Chinese hospitality reminds me very much of Southern and Caribbean, very deep Southern and Caribbean hospitality on steroids as well. Obviously, they have a hierarchy and they teach these inside the school. It was just such a wonderful experience. I wouldn't move back there again because I'm already established here in the US. And there's a few things that might not be beneficial for my daughter at this age, but maybe when she's older. But I would definitely go back to visit for a long-term period, like definitely over a month. If you have any more questions for me down below, please leave them and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Hello YouTube family. I am back again with another reaction video. Guys, please give me a like, share and subscribe to my channel, please. One thing that I picked up from what this lady is saying is that things are much cheaper in China compared to the United States. But of course, you know, when you go to the to China with the power of the dollar, you know, the dollar has more value. You can get to really buy a whole lot of things cheap because now you're comparing $1 to 7 Chinese yuan. So this is what I picked up from everything that she's talked about for the past 6 minutes. Guys, we'll go ahead and check out the next video. Again, please give me a thumbs up on this video, okay? I want to grow my channel, and your likes, shares, and your comment below will encourage me to keep making videos like this. Thank you, guys. Let's try the next video.
To the 10 most expensive cities to live in the United States. The median household income in the United States is about $70,000 a year, and if you're not making significantly more than that these cities, you're probably struggling to get by. The cost of living in the most expensive city in the U.S. is 127% higher than the national average. You get great weather year-round in San Diego, California, but you're paying for it with a 44% higher cost of living, and the median home price is $768,000. Oakland, California comes in at number 9 with a cost of living 46% higher than average and a median home price of nearly $849,000. Boston comes in at number 8 with a cost of living almost 50% higher than the national average and a median home price of $659,000. By the way, home prices is not the only factor taken into account for cost of living. Also factored in is the cost of groceries, transportation, healthcare, miscellaneous goods, and unemployment rates. Seattle is number 7 with a cost of living also 50% higher and a median home price of $848,000. Los Angeles is number 6, 51% higher cost of living and a median home price of $813,000. Number 5 is the nation's capital with a 52% higher cost of living and a median home price of $670,000. Different boroughs in New York City have different costs of living. Living in Manhattan and living in the Bronx are two very different things. So number 4 on this list is Brooklyn, New York, with a 69% higher cost of living and a median home price of $793,000. Now we're getting into the big boys. San Francisco, home of a lot of tech companies, has a 79% higher cost of living and a median home price of $1.3 million. The cost of living in Honolulu is so high mostly because it's extremely isolated and almost everything has to be shipped here. It has an 84% higher cost of living and a median home price of $733,000. The most expensive city in the United States with a cost of living 127% higher than national average, a median home value of $941,000, the borough of Manhattan in New York City.
I'm currently holidaying in the United States with my 18-month-old twins. We just did our first grocery shop and I'm completely shocked by how expensive it was. So the total was $114 US, and I think they forgot the wine. Starting with a 12-pack of Pepsi, this was $9.99, and then they charged us 60 cents tax specifically for this item. Some snacks for $2.50, peanut butter for $4, Then we got various pouches, 10 for $10. This milk for $3. This frozen meal for $7.99. We'll just have this one night when we're tired because we're going to be at this Airbnb for a few days. We got 2 reusable bags, which are 10 cents each, so 20 cents in total. The Cetaphil, this was quite expensive. This was $18.99, but it's the only thing that works for Millie and she really needs them. This was the cheapest brand of nappies that I could find, and it was $12.50. And there is only 22 in the packet. I just think that's so expensive. This water bottle was $7.99. We didn't bring the twins a water bottle because usually they drink from mine, but they haven't been drinking very well, so we need them to drink more water. We got 2 packets of baby wipes, 2 for $4. This loaf of bread for $1.99. An orange for 95 cents. We did buy some fruit yesterday, so they have like bananas and blueberries and pears and apples and stuff already. We bought a small bag of potato chips, more than this, but this is just the leftovers, and that was $2.98. That was from like their hot section. These cheese things for $3.99, and 2 packets of sushi that my husband and I had for dinner. We were going to share this with the twins, but then we realized neither of these are very friendly for them, and one was $9.99 and the other was $7.99. I also got this gigantic bottle of wine. I scanned it at the self-serve, but then like the attendant needed to verify it, and he came over and he must have deleted it because I've just gone through the whole list and it's not on there. So on top of that, there was $4.55 for tax, and the total was $114.03 US cents. I'm actually just shook by that price because at home I could get a substantial amount of groceries to feed for a lot of days. I know I did get the Cetaphil, which is quite expensive. We also got the Coke and sushi, which was again quite expensive, but yeah, I was not expecting that total whatsoever. That is the grocery store we got it from. I'm actually not sure if that's an expensive one or not. It didn't look like it was an expensive or fancy one, but we just went to the closest one. It's the end of the day, we're tired.
Rent in the USA is always about 50% more than what it's worth to live in the given area. So like if the average rent in an area for like a studio or 1 bedroom is $1,200, that's really an $800 a month place, most likely. I personally can't find anywhere in the United States where like the amount that you're paying in rent is equal to what it's worth to live there. It's always more. In other words, there's no place that's good enough to warrant the amount that rent is being charged. And that's pretty much why I feel like I'm gonna live in my car indefinitely. Like maybe I'll get lucky and find some place to rent that's like the amount that I'd be paying for that year lease. I wouldn't get sick of being in that place for what I'm paying. But like I've looked all over, I've been all over this country, and it just doesn't seem like that exists.
I don't think people understand how expensive California is compared to the rest of the country. And Orange County is definitely in another tax bracket. This is one of the places that I used to live in. Why a studio costs more than a 1 bedroom, I have no idea, but $3,200 for a 2 bedroom, literally that's a mortgage in other places. Add that to the fact that we have the highest taxes in the country too. I'll be making a bonus at work and they'll literally take 40% of it out of my paycheck. Now I see why everyone's trying to leave California, but I literally don't know which state I would even move to.
The cost of living crisis in America is real, and I completely understand why so many people feel inclined to create video content on a platform like TikTok, expressing their disdain for it. Everyone is hurting. Even if you're a high income earner, you're not alone. And it really is no wonder, just given how prices have gone up on just about everything from food to gas in this country. The average cost of a home is $420,000. Most people don't have the ability to afford that, especially with crippling debt, like in the form of student loans, and a myriad of different bills that people just can't seem to get out from underneath of. So it begs the question, what do we do? Where do we go from here? We can't even buy cheap food at McDonald's for $1 anymore. They completely nixed the dollar menu. And what dystopian future are we living in which we have to pay more than $1 for fake food at McDonald's that doesn't even taste any good? So it begs the question, what do we do? And I just can't help but feel like there really is no easy solution. Unfortunately, there are external factors constricting the economy that are out of our control. But what we can do, what we should feel inclined to do, is come together now more than ever before. Reason being is because if we're going to survive, if we're going to ensure our quality of life, we need each other.
now more than ever. We need some sense of solidarity, and that's something that's been lacking in this country for what seems like the longest time, just given the stark racial, cultural, and socioeconomic divides. And that could be attributed as a result of us having existed in this system that seeks to pit us against each other as competitors, as opposed to being counterparts. We don't even see each other as fellow countrymen and women anymore. And I think it's a real shame, because nowadays you're going to need people and they're going to need you. So it's up to us. Either we stand united or fall divided.
So I currently live in a duplex that has 1 bathroom, 2 bedrooms, a mold smell, scratched up baseboards. Like, it is not pretty. And I've lived here for 3 years. And when I first moved in, it was $550. That was kind of reasonable. Then they upped it to $625. Okay, fine. Now my new landlords are saying they're going to charge me $725 a month for this piece of shit place. Here's what I don't understand. If landlords are upping the rent, why aren't they raising the quality of the housing that they're providing? And how the fuck do you expect anybody in this economy, in a town where a $20 an hour job is like amazing, like, and rare, you're going to make the rent $4,000 to $3,000 a month? Even $2,000 to $1,000 is absolutely ridiculous. You do realize that minimum wage is still $7.25. Nobody is going to be able to afford to live anywhere. And my friend just got kicked out. Where's she going to go? And here we sit, doing jack fucking shit about it. Good job, America. Good fucking job. Are we going to get off our asses and do anything about this, or are we just going to continue to sit here? There needs to be fucking regulations in this shit. There needs to be caps on the rental prices. You cannot charge out the ass for a house if it's not worth that quality of money. You would not pay $30,000 for a 1997 Buick. Hello. Wake the fuck up. I'm so fucking fed up with this country, dude. We need to get up and do what Paris is doing. Seriously, we are lazy motherfuckers. Keep sitting around doing nothing. And our rights are being ripped away from us. And our living is like, we have no quality of life. Eventually, we will have no quality of life whatsoever. Not even for the middle class. It'll just be the rich people enjoying life. Is that what you want? Because that's where we're headed. On top of that, putting fucking rules on what people fucking dress like gonna arrest people for dressing like a different gender. Are you fucking serious? Does anybody care about this? Are we gonna do anything? Or are we just gonna sit here?
How much do you pay for rent in LA?
Like 4,500.
I'm not saying that you should leave the United States of America. But what I am saying is that my rent is only $100 a month. And that apartment is just as nice as, or maybe even nicer than the average apartment in the United States of America. Oh, but the difference between my apartment and the average apartment in the United States of America is that I have an amazing view of the mountains no matter which window I look out of. If that's what an average apartment costs, what do you think an actual luxury apartment costs per month? You have your own private elevator. I actually met a person that had an apartment just like that on the other side of town with their private elevator and their private terrace, and I asked them how much they pay per month, and they said $600. So what country do I live in? Look, I'm not here to promote just one country, but I can tell you something even better. Here's a secret about other countries. Even though the prices vary depending on what country you're talking about, most countries outside of the US, not all, but most, are way cheaper in terms of cost of living. But what about the locals? Doesn't it raise the prices for them and it pushes them out? You hear that on social media all the time, but here is the truth. Why can you buy a house for $1 in some parts of Italy, but in other parts of Italy, the housing prices are going up, up, and up? Why is it that in Japan, in some areas, you can buy a house for $500, but in other areas, the prices are skyrocketing? Why is it that in some parts parts of Spain, they will pay you to move there. But in other parts of Spain, the prices are just going up. Why is it that in some parts of the United States of America, they will give you free land if you move there, but in other parts, the prices won't stop going up? The answer and the truth is that most countries in the world have areas of their country where they need people to move in to stimulate the economy, but other areas of their country where they don't need more people to move in. So it's simple. It doesn't matter where you are wanting to move, whether it's inside of the United States of America or outside of the United States of America. Only go to the areas where they need people to move in and not the areas where they're overcrowded and don't need any more people to move in. The truth is not complicated. And oftentimes in life, we can make decisions that benefit us and our neighbors at the same time. Now, if you'd like to find a remote job, stick around.
One thing he needs to also include is when you earn money in US dollars, you are at advantage over the locals because you coming in with dollars. Let's not forget that fact. I don't care how you're trying to spin it that, they want to improve their economy or not, but you coming in to those countries with the US dollars, and the exchange rate right now, the US dollars is going up, so you at advantage over those other countries. I'm not telling you to stay in the US, or I'm not telling you to move, but you need to do your research and understand that if you're from America and you're moving to any other country, understand the exchange rates and understand that the dollar is more dominant at the moment. That is my own take. Guys, if you like these videos, again, give me a like and subscribe. Again, that will motivate me to make more videos like this. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'm gonna leave at the moment, and I will be back with new videos that I find to react to. Thanks, and bye-bye.